Thank you guys for being here. Ugh. Welcome, welcome.
What kind of music we got?
Oh no, 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 no. This is like this is like when you turn on this the series the Roy Firestone type stuff. You know, we put that in post. We'll have our guest. He'll be just openly weeping and sobbing because of the interview we're about to do, and then we'll put some orchestral stuff in the back. But
I can dig it.
yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started here? Thank you so much for joining us on a Tuesday night here in the Basement Podcast Studios of First Amendment Sports. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Darren McClinton.
Hey, it's a good one. This is the first of a few that we want to do with local high school and preferably WCAC coaches
Sure.
who want to.
Doesn't have to be WCAC. We like those kind of, we're
Yeah,
partial.
we're trying to preview this high school season. It should be a very, very good, you know, talent rich and action packed high school season this year, and I'm excited about it. We'll be broadcasting some of the games and definitely doing the playoffs. But it's good to have episode one.
Of the First
Our
Amendment
guy,
Sports High School Basketball Preview, Episode 1.
our guys in the building as usual.
Appreciate you guys having me back.
Steve Turner, head coach, Gonzaga High School, I Street, DC. Just a championship after championship after championship, doing amazing things in one of the what we think is the greatest high school sports conference in America, from top to bottom, boy to girl. Every sport that you can throw out there, we think it's just the best. Your championship pedigree is very well respected in this basement podcast studio. Thank you so much for coming back. We can get a lot of people to come here one time, Coach. But when we get people to come back a couple times, that's like the greatest.
But Ken, see, he keeps coming back with more added swag,
He
right?
does.
Because there's
It's
another
true.
notch on his resume. Every time he comes back, he's won something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the big accomplishment.
Oh, yeah.
So the smile gets a little wider.
It does.
You know what I mean? And the swag gets a little more
Oh, yeah.
swaggy.
Because
You
he's
know?
transcended the basement.
Oh,
When
for
he
sure.
first started coming, it was old school. We were going this way. We had the mics and we were eating like ham sandwiches,
For
just
sure.
like hustling. And then all of a sudden he starts rolling in. Now he's a championship winning Gonzaga high school coach. Now he's the defending
back.
champion. He's back. All right, so let's get things started before we get this, like I said, Roy Firestone stuff. Before we go there, Coach, how's it going? How's the off season been? It's such a last time we saw you, you were just coming off one of the most hectic periods it can be for a high school coach. So tell us about how you unwound and how you're rewinding.
I don't know that I've unwound.
Okay.
You know, the years now seem like they just run into each other. Leaving last year's championship right into my son playing AAU, um, following my guys who are playing with different AAU organizations in the spring and in the summer, along with our own team doing the stuff that we had to do, having a new event this summer for high school basketball with the live period, so that added a little more to the plate in terms of being able to be with our guys a
I
little
want to
more.
ask you a little bit about that later on, too.
Okay.
Yep.
And then got having my first experience to work with USA Basketball this past summer.
It's all about USA basketball. I feel.
For sure.
Skills Academy back with Nike out in California. So I felt like literally it was the last 3 weeks prior to getting back to school, I was living out of a bag.
Yeah.
I went from Colorado down to Miami for a quick vacation. From Miami
Miami's a
back.
tough place to vacation. You sometimes need a vacation from Miami.
Nah, I kept it.
Okay,
I
fair.
kept it mellow. Just family time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was good. A little, really the opportunity to decompress,
Yeah.
which worked for me. And then back out to California to finish up with the Nike skills. Back home, week and a half later, we were back on I Street,
That's awesome.
and now we're come this Thursday. We're done with the first quarter.
When I know we're not there yet, but when's the first session you can be with the kids?
We're with them now.
I mean, is there a
So
changeover that where you can do more? Or?
we can do more this year.
Okay,
So what they've given us is 12 hours a week.
okay,
So 3 hours with no max of 3 hours per day. So basically 4 days a week, you get 12 hours.
Now, Ken,
3
in
hours per day.
essence, to piggyback on what he's saying, high school is doing that as well as college does it also. But the guys are in the summer.
Yeah.
The incoming freshmen, they're coming in. They're going to summer school, and they're actually getting together. They have a certain amount of hours of on court time.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, and I know back when we were coming out, it was, I don't know if it was October 15th or whatever the day was. That was the official day that it started. So now it's not that same feel of that's the first day of practice, because you kind of, and it helps
Yep.
programs because you can hit the ground rolling. You know what I mean? And you can uh when the official first day of practice starts, you've got guys that already understand the concepts, new guys that already understand the concepts, already have reps, live reps with and he can Steve can already see kind of how the rotation may be as soon as practice starts. Some guys can move up, some guys can knock themselves down, through their play, but you kind of see what you're dealing with a little earlier, and that helps
So you
coaches.
talked about
Am I
when you
wrong? That helps coaches from a perspective
I
standpoint.
I think for our league, it's probably a little bit different with everybody. I've left the same approach of what we've been doing in the past. Certain days for lifting, certain days for strength and conditioning training. Throwing some yoga in there, and then a couple of days of pickup. I haven't taken full advantage of being able to practice right now.
Okay.
My feeling on it is maybe different, and I have a different philosophy than others. I think if you start doing it now, when it matters the most in January, February especially, coaches are going to come on deaf ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our kids don't want to hear us barking and yelling right now. Like, this is a time for me, in my opinion, it's just a time for their growth in terms of working on the skill development. Certainly wanting to see them play together, and we try to let that happen through pickup. You certainly can see through the pickup who can handle certain things and who can't.
Well, in your case, yes. And let's say there's a program that has a lot of new faces.
Oh, I think.
Maybe they would want to
Oh,
take advantage
definitely. I
of
think
that
they should be
time, right?
taking.
Okay.
They'd have an
Yeah.
opportunity to take advantage of it. I haven't really asked the other coaches how they're doing their thing, but for me, I've kind of stayed with the philosophy of where we've been prior to being allowed to do this now.
Absolutely.
I think you probably take a little more advantage of late October as
Yeah.
we get to November to maybe start implementing some things or going through some things that the guys will have fun with.
Well, looking forward, uh, your schedule is completely done. What events will you be at this year?
Probably, you worry sometimes that you bite off more than you can chew.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I think for us, I've always said, play the best to be the best. And no matter what, prepare yourself with those non-conference games to be able to prepare for the teams in your league.
Yeah.
I mean, we play in the best conference in the country. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Certainly, there could be some teams that can beat teams in our league or beat the top teams in our league. But for what we have to go through night in and night out, it's the ACC. And this year we're heading to City of Palms, which already has the number 1 and number 2 preseason teams in the event. So we'll have a chance if we're fortunate enough to get to the championship, not even necessarily win it, but get there.
Yep.
You're going to have an opportunity to probably play the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country. We're
Ken,
heading
the
out.
City of Palms is an incredible star-studded event every
I,
year.
I remember footage from it last year. It's I mean, obviously it's no WCAC tournament, but at the end of the day, what is?
I would say it's probably one of the events that's close enough to a potential
Sure.
national
Yeah.
title. In terms of the teams that they bring in there, you got McCutcheon, who was undefeated last year. They'll be back in it. You got O'Day with the big fella out west coming into play. That's who we probably will see in the first round of the event. We're heading back to. Actually, we're heading to the Hoop Fest this year, DC Hoop Fest.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping I'm hoping we're heading there too.
So this year the events fell on different weekends. Our DC Classic and the Hoop Fest will be different weekends. So
Yeah, because normally y'all play it's
the
the
same
same
weekend.
weekend, so you all aren't fortunate enough to play in it, but this year you can play in both. That's
This year we're
good.
playing both.
That is great.
And
Shout out to Doug.
we'll be
He'll
at
be on.
We'll be in the Baltimore DC challenges we've played in the last 2 years. Heading out to Mater Day in February to play Rancho Christian, who has the number 1 player in the country, Evan Mobley, and we'll go back to Springfield to play Lalamere. And then, of course, our DC Classic. We're bringing a pretty good.
So no, y'all not doing.
No cancer research this year.
Okay.
Technique.
How many total games are
We
locked
can
in?
play 30 games.
30 games outside of their conference tournament.
That's 30 games with conference. So 30 regular season games prior to playoffs.
Gotcha.
That's a pretty tough schedule.
And
That's
then,
a tough schedule.
and then our tournament this year, we're bringing in. We're the WCAC champion. You're bringing in St. Stephen, St. Agnes, IAC champion, state champion. Georgetown Prep and McDonough will be the 4 locals. And then from out of town, we're bringing Emotep, Philly's back-to-back state champion, Gray Collegiate, South Carolina's back-to-back state champion, Knoxville Catholic, who has a group of kids who play with former DC area guy Bobby Mays' Mays Elite AAU team. So they've got a couple of his top players playing on that team, and they were a runner-up in Knoxville last year. And our last team is Gonzaga from out west, home of Mr. Stockton.
There you go.
They were a top 10 team in the country last year.
Wow.
So it's a good, very good field coming to I Street for the
That's
DC
good.
Classic
So
this year.
you have an action-packed season to look forward to, and I know your guys will be prepared physically and mentally. I want to ask you about a couple of your guys. It always seems that your top guys and your guys that you are also my guys from the summertime and from their youth days. But tell me a little bit about Terrence Williams, our guy, Big T. He's headed to Georgetown. He's he coming off a very productive spring and summer, as he does every year. But do you see a change in his mindset this year? He's going to his senior year. Even though he had a leadership role, it's still now it's his senior year. It's his last go round. It's how do I want to lay my legacy, on I Street? How do I want to prepare myself for Georgetown, for big time college basketball? We all know that high school basketball and AAU, it's a little different style of play. High school more so fits system-wise and fits what you're going to deal with in college. The continuity, you're going to be with guys for 8-9 months instead of, a couple of months, a few months. So how has he, or have you seen a change in his approach this preseason, or is he more verbally, taking initiative of, taking the bull by the horn, so to speak?
I think at times. I think T's always been a lead by example kind of guy. Not always the most vocal when it comes to getting on his teammates. He certainly is one to push them, especially when needed. But I think he's again doing a lot of his leading by example. If you see him now, his body's really changing.
Yeah.
He's understanding in the conversations I'm sure he's having with the folks at Georgetown how he's got to have his body right, how he's got to have his conditioning right to prepare him for life in college basketball.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who's kind of transitioning in terms of his position. So you can see it in his skill work, you can see it in his skill set. And the things that he's doing, putting the ball on the deck, taking it off the rim, pushing the break himself versus giving it up and being a trail guy. Now he's leading the break. So he's doing a lot of things that is helping himself prepare for the next level, but also I think that's going to help elevate our team.
Well, the one thing that we like to talk about when we talk about the WCAC is you get guys for 4 years. For the most part. It's high school. It's not one and done. They're not, moving on to the next level. High school is high school. So the programs that end up with these seniors that are special in our league, and with him being one of them. And so as a coach, you do get these guys, for 4 years. I mean, talk about the journey that he took, over the course of 4 years, because he's always been a good player. But now he comes in with people know who he is, people who are on the fringes of not, being basketball, nuts like we are, know his name. He's going to stand out when he's on the floor. People's eyes are going to be on him. But at the same time, he's a guy people like. I mean, he's a fun guy to root for. And so it's not college, because that plays out on ESPN and CBS Sports and Dick Vitale, but it's kind of like that. This is a big deal. A 4-year guy.
The thing about the WCAC, if you've been eating good,
I know,
for a few years, you've had that target on your back, and you're built for that.
No, but not target on his back. I'm talking about just
but
like.
As far as he's not just arriving. He's a senior now, but he
can
been
handle
arrived.
He can
He's
handle
been
that.
Eating real good for a while. So it's a close knit group. This WCAC.
Yeah.
And
he's a special 4th-year player in WCAC. I'm talking about like there's a tier of guys. There's a couple of lacrosse guys last year. We talk about we talk about the football players. We talked there was the Heights had an unbelievable soccer player graduate last year. He was next level stuff. But the WCAC has an awesome platter of 4th-year players every single year, and Terrence is one of the biggest parts of that. I think we need to be celebrating that. Yeah. And I don't want to get it too far ahead because we are in football season, but this is our basketball preview, and if we can't preview the WCAC basketball season without talking about one of the most amazing, players coming back for his 4th year on the defending champion.
I don't know what his numbers are, and Steve, I know but he's been eating.
He's chasing some things this year.
That's what I'm saying.
He has an opportunity in his class, not just him himself, but his class. They can get there.
Yeah,
we'll be in 4 championships.
Yeah.
If they can get there and win it, could be the first group to win 3 as a Gonzaga player.
Let people sleep on that. Let people sleep on that.
And first to ever go back to back. Like there's never been a Gonzaga team to go back to back. And I think the thing that a lot of people don't recognize is T's played a lot of minutes for us.
Yeah, big minutes.
If he can hold his numbers, he quietly could pass Chris Likes as the all-time leading scorer at Gonzaga, and it's obtainable. He's got to stay steady every night.
That was the first one of the 3 and 4 you were talking about, right? It was Chris's senior year. Mm-hmm. So his championship, last year's championship, and this year would be 3 out of 4 for those guys.
They would have won 3 out of 4, but have been in all 4.
Yeah, been in all 4.
Championship all 4 years.
Yeah, LeBron style.
Quick congratulations to Anwar Gill.
Yeah,
he's committed to LaSalle.
Appreciate that, D.
Yeah, he's doing a
prep year down at Mount Verde.
At Mount Verde. I know that's been a journey. Kind of his situation has been up and down, but he's. I think that's a good fit for him. He's going to make any program. I always felt that any program that we're blessed to have him, that he's going to make better. He's going to fit in and
get
show
minutes.
He's going to show his worth, and LaSalle is getting a very versatile and a hungry chip on his shoulder player. And congratulations to him.
I can't remember who said it, but somebody said it a year ago. He's the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
And I think it was said on this. I think
that was on the show.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, that was how we broadcast covering it.
And amphibious.
Well, that you have a patent on amphibious. Yes. That's for sure. I use it, and I credit you every day with that.
TM net.
We do need a TM. But he is a Swiss Army knife. That is how we classified him. I remember Anwar and Terrence were after the game on the headsets with us.
Absolutely.
After that awesome, amazing game. So last year. You're done with it. I know you are. You want to get on with it. So let's get on with it.
He's got a young duo. He's got a young duo in the backcourt.
I know. Let's get on with it. We got out with the old and with the new. The new is pretty exciting.
What's up with these young guns? How
Yeah,
they
you got
looking
some,
in the
you got some
preseason,
young
man?
guns.
They're showing themselves to be worthy of being varsity players.
That's not what he said before the show started.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what he said. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah. I mean, you got to remember, we're returning 10 guys back from a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
So, you know, Devin Dinkins had an opportunity last year when
Mayor Dinkins?
when he was the mayor at certain times. I can tell you that. But he held his own. I mean, Chuck was down for a while for us. We handed the freshman the ball, and the blessing for him was he was surrounded by some veterans, but it allowed him an opportunity to grow up at the right pace, in my opinion. And now you see him; he's comfortable. Like he knows what to expect. He's been through the trenches. He's been in some big time games.
Yep.
Made shots to help us win some big time
Yeah.
games. So now he feels like a vet. And then there's his buddy, his partner, Judah Mintz, who's coming off a tremendous summer, playing with Takeover, playing in the summer games with us here at Gonzaga. I always say, and I joke a little bit, that people are going to say, what the heck was Coach Turner doing last year? And this kid's sitting on the bench. Judah can really score the ball.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of Anwar in him to a certain degree because he can do a lot of other things outside of just scoring the ball. He rebounds it well. He can score at multiple levels. And then the thing I think that he doesn't give, I don't even think he gives himself enough credit for, he can really defend. Like he can get up in people and
Special athlete.
and
Stay with him.
change,
He's a
and
special
change the
athlete.
game. And
Congrats are also due to Chuck Harris.
Chuck
Oh, yeah.
is
We said his name
I
a few
feel like a
times.
newfound man, to be honest with you. I think it's something I always see, and you see when the kids commit to the schools, almost like the weight of the world gets off their shoulders. Like
For sure.
he has been, in my opinion, in our preseason right now, as good as anybody in the gym, and he's playing at a different level, playing with a whole nother pace. He's changed his body. He's gotten bigger and stronger. He's shooting it as well as I've seen him shoot it in 4 years.
Well, you said it, Steve. Not to interrupt you, but you said it. Once you commit, and so you know where you're going to be at the next level, there's no more jitters. There's no more putting that pressure on yourself to perform when certain eyes are in the gym or when certain eyes are at your preseason workouts or at your team practices. And with that pressure being gone, you can concentrate, you can relax, and you can do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's now I can be more of a leader, because I'm not worried about, now I'm worried about winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not worried about outside of winning what my numbers look like or what this game is a good game or a bad game or how I'm performing on a day-to-day basis, because all that's taken care of now. All that's taken care of. I've done my work. I've gotten to where I need to be. Now let me get better. Let me help guys around me. Let me galvanize. Let me improve. Let me get the most out of my teammates.
Yeah.
And let me you understand
Yeah,
what I mean?
of course.
So somebody like Chuck, you're gonna see a different Chuck now.
Yeah.
And just like you said, to your point. So I love it. I love it when guys, because I see the passion as they're coming up, and I see the pressure that they're putting on themselves, and outside people are putting on them to get to that certain point. And once they finally get there, then you start to see, you know what? Now here's the real Chuck right here. You know what I mean? So
Well, he's going to have to be a big
I know
part
you're
of
excited to see how
a push for a championship. That's for sure.
how he's gonna lead from that backcourt too.
Do you and
because you're gonna need him.
do you and Randy and Casey, is there like and the golf coach whose name escapes me, and there was more than just the four of you that won titles last year. Do you have a special like break room just for you guys, or you just sip champagne during the day and be like, man? Oh, so last year was an amazing year for Gonzaga sports.
Man,
Lots of titles. We brought three of them to you live, but there was more than that. Like I said, I know that they had a really good golf team, and they had some other amazing teams as well. But
I mean, how many times did we keep saying the Almighty was purple?
It
And
is.
We kept saying
We
it
had
every
Jeff
season,
Clay
right?
on earlier. He AMDG'd us. He gave us some drivers, 101. And so what's it like? Is Joe ready? Did he get like $1 million raise? I mean, is Joe, did he put a big addition on his house?
If he did, he's not telling us. He's definitely not telling us.
People are happy. People are happy on I Street.
They are.
Now, are they still happy? Because I know you are, like I said, out with the old. You're on to the next thing. But is there some riding high down on I Street because of what happened last year? Because it was special.
It definitely is. I mean, it was a special year. You had, I think, 9 championships.
9. It was a lot.
And,
Wow.
Indoor track, golf, tennis,
Always had a good tennis team. I was winless against Gonzaga
cross
in my
country.
days.
So I mean, there was a lot of folks who were able to get some winning
That's
done
awesome.
down there. And I think the coaches do a good job of really supporting each other and being able to be there when those tough times are going on. So it's good to be able to have other guys that you can lean on who are going through a lot of things that you go through as a coach.
Yeah.
When you want to vent a little bit or, just have someone's ear about certain things and maybe a way that they handle something. So I'm very appreciative of the coaching staff that we have down at Gonzaga because they're always there to support. I mean, coming here tonight, I got to play a little bit of guest coach with my other sport that I love, was soccer.
Yep.
So tonight I played guest coach with the soccer team,
Purple Eagles over the
PVI Panthers.
PVI Panthers.
5-0.
5-0.
Wow. Hey, Steve, I want to ask you something. The NCAA started something new this summer with the live period one.
Oh, I thought we were
and
talking about
live-
paper play. No. Okay.
the live period 1, live period 2.
Yeah.
So they had 2 high school based live periods where you're playing with your high school team as opposed to playing with your AAU teams. First, how successful do you think the year 1 was? I know it wasn't just to test it out because that's the direction that they're going in. But what do you think of that the first year? How was it? Did you like it?
I
Do you think it was successful?
Definitely liked it and definitely think it was successful. I think there's certainly some things that they can fix to make it even better. I think we had this a little bit before when we had the summer leagues when
Right.
the colleges could just come out
Right.
all summer
Yep.
and see you wherever you played. But what I liked about it was it gave some other kids some opportunities who might be on the AAU team and just be on the team and not playing a lot of minutes, where you can focus because it's not tournament style and it's not win to advance, where it's all right. We can play everybody and get everybody some opportunity.
Yeah, because if
to be seen.
you're playing AAU in the original way that the recruiting went, if you're not playing on Sunday, a lot of times you don't get seen.
Right.
You can play Friday night or all day Saturday. If your team does not make it to Sunday,
Over.
it's very hard to get seen.
Hashtag one less kitchen.
One less kitchen, right? So I get your point with that because some guys that may play on a team that doesn't make it to championship Sunday, now you're seeing me in a different light. You're seeing me with my high school guys, and colleges need to see that. Colleges need to see how guys are with their high school teams because it might be a different role than they are with their AAU teams.
Definitely.
So
I thought it gave, but again, I think it took the pressure off the coaches in terms of just playing to win, that you're also playing to truly showcase and give kids opportunity to be seen. The only thing I would ask if I had a chance to sit down with the NCAA group is to recognize areas. We had 2 events going on in D.C., and to have an event where teams in the same conference can't play each other makes no sense.
right.
That's right.
I think our area is a unique area, the DMV.
Yep.
We got teams like in our conference from 3 different areas, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. And to have an event going on, or 2 events going on, and some of those teams can't play each other because someone doesn't play for a state championship doesn't make sense when they're true high school teams playing under high school federation rules.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you want to have the best teams having an opportunity to showcase against each other, which is going to draw more coaches to an event to allow
That's a great point.
numbers of kids to be seen.
Yep.
And that's the only thing I thought that they got to do a better job of recognizing different areas and how things play out in certain areas based on conferences and leagues and public, private, all that good stuff.
Right.
Well, I will tell you the one thing I'm most looking forward to is the WCAC basketball tournament. That was our first true taste of. I think that was like the as great as the Gonzaga DeMatha football game was, the final, and it was awesome. It was a great day. St. Mary's beat O'Connell in a lesser conference game, but it was still fun. But the WCAC basketball tournament, the 4 games on the first day, 2 semis for girls, 2 semis for boys, followed by the 2 finals on the second day. That to me, that was as good as it gets. And Coach, you wouldn't be shocked to learn like some of the most electric moments in the WCAC last year. The St. John's McNamara girls basketball games. I don't know many times I've felt that. And the your semifinal game and your final game in the WCAC tournament. Because of one thing that I think is what part of the reason why I'm involved in this, and I think that we're involved in this. We go to these schools and we live broadcast various sports, and I wanted to showcase the fans. Gonzaga has a great student section. Gonzaga's fans are great. I love them. They're consistent. Mm-hmm. They're always there. They show up, and this isn't to say that other schools don't, because the other schools at WCAC have good fan sections, but Gonzaga's fan sections deserve to point out they've showed up on our broadcasts, even on the road, because they were a part of our show in the St. John's Gonzaga semifinal football game, and so I very much appreciate that, and as a coach, especially now that you have family there now, that's part of that whole situation in the stands. I mean, so how does that feed into what you're doing as a coach there, and how do you make that fun for your guys? Because you could talk about how AAU and club is so important. Part of what makes high school great is that.
I mean, I think. Well, I was not even thinking the fact. A big part of what drew me to Gonzaga was the student section. I mean, when I was working at Newport and Pilati, my first 2 years in high school coaching, I remember at the time dating my wife, and I would take her to these games because I had a couple kids who played in the league, played at DeMatha, had a couple guys who played at Gonzaga. They kept trying to draw me to come to coach at Gonzaga, Tommy McCluskey and Pat Mitchell. Shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife, my now wife at the time, my girlfriend, asking me, like, why are you bringing me to these games? And I was like, because I'm going to coach there one day. And lo and behold, 21 years later, still there coaching. Now the head coach for 16 years. But one of the things that always attracted to me was those Gonzaga DeMatha games where the fans were going back and forth at each other. And just the camaraderie and the brotherhood, it makes it special. And I think it's probably more unique at those 2 places because we are all still single-sex schools. And, at other places you got a mixture of kids, but it becomes a brotherhood. I hear the guys at DeMatha talk about it. I live it at Gonzaga. And it's something that's pretty special when you have those guys out in full force rooting their brothers on. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always say at our place when they show up in those big games, it's worth 10 points. And so I'm always trying to support those guys in other ways too, to make sure they continue to support us.
And Ken, you talked about the electric environment of the WCAC tournament.
Yeah.
I was at the very first game of the regular season where Gonzaga went over to McNamara.
Okay.
And
that was
Vini's debut.
That was Vini's debut.
And the atmosphere at that game, and that was just game 1.
Stole one, right?
There was
Stole one.
Yes. There was you got a long way to go. That's just game 1. And the atmosphere there, part of it was
NYC boys there that night. They were just gotten there, right?
Yeah.
Part of it was because it was his debut.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is it's a regular season WCAC game, which every game pretty much has a championship type atmosphere. And it's just amazing. You're talking about the fan base.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how McNamara's fans were in attendance. I don't know how many tickets the Gonzaga was allowed to get for that game, but
I had nothing to do. Whatever it was, I had nothing to do with it.
The Gonzaga fan base that was there was on fire as well.
Heck yeah.
You know what I mean? So these are atmospheres which once a student athlete leaves out of this conference and they go to their college, wherever they may go, they're built for that.
Yeah.
Like the rivalries that go on in the NCAA. You know, I remember going to play at James Madison University, and a game versus our rival, which was Old Dominion University, a game against ODU, it felt like old Springbrook Blair, and Steve went to Blair. So, and I went to Springbrook. So, it felt like old Springbrook Blair as far as that. You know, so these kids that are playing in these type of environments, you're talking about the fan base and the student body, they're cut out for whatever it is to come. If you can understand what I
Well,
mean.
and you know, Steve, we talk about like we think DC is a great sports town, and we keep things positive, and some of the teams in town make that difficult at times. But you know, as long as Dan Snyder doesn't buy Gonzaga or McNamara or St. John's or anything, I think we'll be okay. But people care about it. It's we say what we say here is it's personal. You know, high school sports is personal. It should be personal in a good way. The best way. And if anyone needs a reminder of why DC is a great sports town, look no further than the WCAC. Look no further than the amazing kids who are coming through.
Shout out to Paint Branch too. Paint Branch environment
Of
was
course,
incredible
of
too.
course.
Go ahead.
But you know, without coaches like this guy right here, and you as well, people who actually invest in multiple generations of players coming through, like at the top. Why are people surprised when they turn on ESPN and they see Chris Likes just destroying it on a highlight, or some of the girls that are coming out of these schools and killing it? It's just
Another day, another dollar. Cook.
It's awesome. So thank you so much because of the job you do. You know, we could talk all day about your basketball exploits, but you know, you've helped a lot of kids. I mean, that's like, how great is that? Like, there's nothing better than that.
Nah, it's nothing better than that. I mean, I like to talk about when we're talking to, you know, recruits and kids who are looking to come to our schools. I never talk about like the championships.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about what I like to call my walking trophies, and that's the guys who left us taking advantage of the 4-year opportunity that school gives them with getting a great education, playing high basketball at a high level, but then going on and being able to compete, but most importantly, watching them graduate and get their degree from college. Like, that's probably more, I'm probably more proud of that than any WCAC championship.
And Steve, let's talk. Since we're talking about proud moments, I do want to, before we go, I do want to touch on, you're able to see your son
Yeah.
walk through the doors down I Street, go through the process that you've helped so many players that have come up, you know, in your program, and now your own flesh and blood, your son is
Roy Firestone.
going through that very same process, and just got offered by Howard University, am I right? And GW.
Yep.
Congratulations to Jared for that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And hopefully more to come as he progresses as a basketball player. He coming off a very good spring and summer with Team Takeover, our 15 and under team that played very well on the circuit. Tell me how that feels for you to have your son coming up in your program. That son right there, but still, he's a part of your program, and you know he gets it just like everybody else gets it. You know, he gets reprimanded just like everybody else gets reprimanded.
He probably gets it worse.
Okay, right, for sure.
No, and probably not always from me.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the gift and the curse.
Yeah.
It's something we talked about a lot prior to him even coming to Gonzaga. Certainly going through the process and continue to talk about it every day. You know, he has a bullseye bigger than the one that we got on our back from winning the championship last year, because he's, as I've told him, you're everyone's litmus test. Some of your best friends' parents talk about you at the dinner table every night, and not because they don't like you, but hey, if you're as good as Jared, Coach Turner got to keep you, because the expectations are that I'm just going to keep my own child. Certainly, he's got to earn everything he gets. He's having an opportunity now to be on varsity because of what he proved and showed himself to be as a freshman on JV last year. If it wasn't that, he'd probably be playing JV again this year. I'm not going to do daddy basketball. I've never done it. I coached him when he was in AAU. We won national championships.
We don't wear daddy goggles around here. We don't wear daddy goggles.
And he didn't start for me. I mean, he still tells me to this day, and I got to watch tape, that I didn't play him in the championship game, and I don't believe that, but I'm going to treat him as I've told any recruit who's brought their kid to me, or any family that's brought their kid to me, is that I'm going to treat them no different than I treat my own two kids. There's going to be days I kick them in the butt, because I'm going to make them be the best young men they can be. But I'm also going to love them. And so I'm going to treat any kid in my program the same way that I would treat Jared or treat my oldest son, Christian, because it's my job when someone puts their child in my hands to be that second or third parent in their life.
For sure.
It's not just about the basketball. But for Jared, I think, you know, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be challenging, because I think also he has to take the brunt of guys who felt like I kicked them in the butt. They trying to take it out on him.
Sure, of course.
Ken, his son is a bona fide sniper.
Dude, I watched. I was at the eighth grade championship for Holy Redeemer. I was wearing all red, rooting for the Cardinals. I was actually sitting right near him in the stands. He
Now,
didn't
I've
want
had
to
the
talk to me.
opportunity to train him and work him out a few times, and we've done some shooting contests, and he's almost beat me. Almost.
He's never
That's
gonna
saying
get there.
a lot now. That's
He's
saying
never
a
gonna get there
lot.
though. That's like the halfway, every step taken halfway to the wall. It's never.
But no,
it's
he
never
can
gonna
he
happen.
can really shoot the basketball.
He still has to grow as a player. I mean,
yeah.
but I think because of the way the game is going now, he possesses something that every coach at every level wants
For sure.
in their program.
For sure.
And that's a kid that can shoot the ball. And it doesn't hurt him that he went from 5'10" to 6'5" in less than a year and a
Yeah.
half. And I don't think he's done growing. So he's just got to continue to keep working
Length.
hard.
Can't teach length.
I'm not going to put him in a position to set him up for failure. He's got to earn everything he gets, which I think he'll do. I think he's only growing from being put in situations where he does have to fight from behind.
Yeah.
I think in today's society we do too much. What's the everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Participation.
We're not
awards.
doing that in the Turner house. You got to earn your keep, and because there's someday I'm not going to be here, his mom's not going to be here. There's going to be more to life, and he's got to be able to be put in a position where he can grow and fend for himself when that day may come.
For sure.
Not hoping anytime soon, but that's what I'm trying to teach in my household, is that you're going to become a man, and we're going to teach you how to be a man, and it's going to come from not making life easy for you.
Be fun for people who enjoy high school basketball, and especially the WCAC, to have that story, the father-son story. It doesn't happen very often. It's another thing that doesn't happen very often.
He's going to be the butt of every joke in every gym.
Yeah, but the thing is, when he drops 21 and 9, or gets 7 assists and 18 points in a win, trust me. Listen, you've been watching him for a long time. I've had the opportunity to watch him, because watch him play at HR.
I mean, that was a proud moment watching that game.
It was an awesome game.
He kind of came out cold.
Yeah.
And then he got hot when it mattered the most. I think he hit 4 or 5 in that second half.
Yeah, and it was a big game, and there was people in the stands, and it was I mean, for an 8th grade championship game, it was a big deal. But again, you're watching legitimate players. I'm excited to watch them. I'm excited to cheer for the two of you as a pair. Coaching player pairings. Again, we're talking about we're talking about Roy Firestone stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think
3 years ago.
I don't think. I think probably the best thing was that I didn't like. I don't think Mike Jones liked watching him make all those threes on that court. He was probably a little too comfortable.
No,
on
he
that
didn't.
court.
No, he did not.
So one of the big burning questions going into this season is, can the Purple Eagles repeat? You all have a lot of players back.
That's an
You
easy
got
answer,
A lot of
yes.
returning players. You definitely have the coaching staff and the tradition. And I know you guys are going to be prepared, and I want to say good luck to you all. It's going to be a very competitive season this year, as it is every year.
That's right.
PVI has Jeremy Roach coming back off of
That's kind of unfair, by the way. That's ridiculous. It's like a free agent.
Yeah,
Professional.
So
Glenn.
it's gonna be action packed from start to finish. So
Yeah, but it's how you finish. That's just like we talk about in football.
and Gonzaga seems to finish strong every year.
Well, they finish
so they're gonna
strong
be
in
right there.
individually games and in seasons.
Yeah,
Our approach really.
Talk about that.
I guess our approach for this year is I've always said to him on a year after a championship, we're not looking to repeat. This is something that's brand new, so we're going to approach it like it's day one, trying to get that first one.
What's the number one priority?
For us,
Yes.
defense.
What's the number one season goal?
Every year is to win the WCAC championship. Come on, every year is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Every year is to win the WCAC championship.
Yes.
And that's why as we talked about earlier, the schedule. We want to take on all the best teams that we can play.
Yeah.
To help us grow, because as I continue to joke about,
come February.
we play 20 games, 20 scrimmages, because in February everybody's 0-0.
So
At
great.
that point, you got to find a way to hopefully be in a position not to win 4, and be able to go win 3.
Yep.
You always say that too. You're right. On a different note, man, tell me this: with LeBron
Yeah. Let's get out on that one.
and AD together, they look pretty good against Golden State Warriors the other day,
They
right?
did.
I know it's just the preseason. With LeBron and AD, if they can stay healthy, I just saw on SportsCenter they're the odds
I saw that.
favorite
Yep.
to win the West. What's your take on that, man?
It's so much. It's the West is new. Here's how I'm gonna describe it.
Don't give me the political
no,
answer.
no,
Give me
no. The West is new.
give me the
Because
goods,
there's all these changing parts. There's new faces
right? Yeah,
who've come in,
yeah,
new faces who've been added to different teams,
right.
and new faces
But you know who they are.
back to the East.
Mm-hmm.
And some guys who are still banged up and not ready to play yet.
Give me the goods. Cut to the chase. Give me the goods.
It's always been about the formidable 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think forever in the NBA game.
Yeah.
And right now they might have the best 2.
That's what I said.
LeBron seems to thrive when he has those pieces around him. And I don't feel like
They can remain healthy.
That's the big key.
That is a huge key.
And I also think not be put in a position where he's got to do it all.
AD or LeBron?
LeBron.
I think AD should be taking at least 28 plus shots per game.
And for me, it's not about the scoring. I think they will be a better team if they allow Rondo and Bradley to truly be the point guards.
Love
Avery Bradley.
He loves
y'all.
him. He
People-
loves
A lot
him.
of people forget Avery Bradley is on this team.
Because the question for them, even when they got AD, for me, was still how well they will be defensively. That was a piece that answered some questions to that puzzle.
Anthony Davis, guys, does not want to play the 5. Anthony Davis, you don't have to play
No,
the 5. You got JaVale McGee, and as long as his hind parts is all right, you got Dwight Howard.
That's a problem for me. That's a
Healthy
weak spot.
Hey, listen, a healthy Dwight Howard is still a monster.
He's when's he been
Sometimes
healthy?
the health ain't always his problems, though, D.
You right. He's in LA too. It's gonna be. I already done seen some changes in his haircut and all this. You got Kuzma. This team is.
They have
is
role guys,
Quinn
out there,
Cook.
whatever. But I think it's all this super team stuff. Best 2 wins, and LeBron always makes the finals.
Still one question, D.
yeah.
how do they shoot it?
Right. The outside shooting is going to be a question mark, and I think all year long. You've got some formidable shooters. You got some guys that can spit it from the outside, but when LeBron puts that pressure on you, as far as I'm drawing double and triple team, and I hit you in the corner, and I
they're gonna be
expect
making
you to
open
make that
shots.
shot. That's a little bit different. It's a little different.
I think AD is going to open up the shorter, the 17, 18 footers. If you're going, because first of all, I'm going to make you take the ball out of AD's hands, and if you're taking the ball out of AD's hands and you're giving LeBron his respect, those guys aren't going to have to settle for 3-pointers. They're going to settle for open elbow shots. I mean, if you're going to, until you literally make Anthony Davis pass the ball, it's not going to be out to the 3-point
When
line.
Anthony Davis is healthy, it's like Gladys Knight in the Pips.
It's like,
he
Patsos.
is Gladys. He is Gladys. You all that around him, we call that after spades. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
We call that after
I love it.
spades.
I like that.
So,
I need to work that
when
in.
Anthony Davis is healthy,
Yeah,
whatever is going on around him is after.
he's going to
spades.
get Patsos.
And
Like
you
they're going to
can't
be the
never
other guys
think
on
of-
him, just
you
to
can't never
guard that
think
guy.
of LeBron as after spades.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah, yeah.
dangerous. That's just
It's
dangerous.
dangerous.
What's also dangerous is that two-headed monster down in Houston.
No.
But, that's for another show.
Are they walking? Are they taking the bus? Are they
That's for
renting
another
scooters?
show. And you still got that backcourt in Portland. But
Well, you know I'm a
You
Dame
haven't,
guy.
you haven't spoken about the team that they say is going to be second.
No, it's not the
it
Warriors.
can't be the Golden State Warriors.
It's not the Warriors.
They said the
It's the
Clippers.
Clippers.
That's who. Oh, the Clippers.
You
It's
haven't
the
said anything
show.
about the Clippers.
Now I love the defensive. I love the defensive 1, 2, and 3 with Patrick Beverly, Paul George, and Kawhi. That's ridiculous. They're strapping.
If I'm Kawhi Leonard, I feel so disrespected right now because all I did was just sign a random deal with the Toronto Raptors and win a freaking title with them. I mean, now you get to go to the Clippers when you actually have. I
well,
mean,
And
no,
you're
no,
home.
no disrespect to.
And
You
you're
won a
home.
chip.
And you
You won a chip.
yeah.
And Kyle Lowry,
Toronto.
thank you, Kawhi. If I'm Kyle Lowry, he just signed 31
31.
He's
for
fine.
1 year. Thank you, Kawhi Leonard.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He did what he had to do. You can't say he's not a championship guy just because he's under Pop's system.
Yeah.
He left out from under Pop, got a chip. Now he's going to add to his legacy.
I think-
quietly, in some New Balance, by the way.
And some New
Quietly.
Balance.
Hey,
Winner comes from
I
the
ain't
East.
mad at him.
Winner comes from the East.
When it's coming from the East?
Winner's coming from the East.
All right.
NBA championship. Is
You got to give me your 5, man, on the way out.
Yeah, but I want to be. I mean, I do, and I want to try to. I was gonna try to, like, give me your 5. We'll go in draft order. You get the first draft pick. I always get the least amount, so I'll go second. You go third twice, and we'll finish up with him. Okay.
Yeah.
You get when someone drafts somebody, they're off the table, out, eliminated. Okay. So I want you to give me your favorite coaches at the collegiate level. Who?
Any sport?
Yes, any sport, any
Favorite NCAA coaches?
favorite NCAA
Oh,
coaches.
I got this hands down. Go ahead.
Any sport.
In any sport.
And I get 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you both get 2. I only get 1.
All right.
And you get the first overall pick. For whatever reason, you could just love them for whatever reason, but the collegiate coach, number 1 overall draft pick.
What you got?
Gino REM.
Oh, that's unexpected. Like every
How
fantasy
is that
draft,
unexpected?
his ADP is like at least in the 3rd round. I that blows me away. Did we talk about Gino? I
How
wanna say
many?
maybe we did
How
on the last
many?
show.
To his point, how many
I know.
NCAA coaches on any sport can put their resume up against Gino?
Yeah,
Win-loss record.
I have to change my whole board now. I was Gino Ariema wasn't even. Oh my! It's
Pros,
ridiculous.
number 1 picks.
I know. He's done nothing but succeed at the highest level
my God.
possible, like ridiculously consistently. It's a great first. It's a great. You know what? You got him, and that is the
He
respect.
even has the best tweets. I'm.
That's the most
recorded
respect
all
I've
his
ever heard him
tweets.
gotten.
I mean, he'll give you a 2-minute thing that
His sound bites
you
are
can
the
live by. Yes. But go
That's
ahead.
great. All right. Well, I only get one guy. I only get one.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so. I don't know about if it's rightfully so.
Go ahead.
Well, then I guess I'm just gonna say Gary Williams. I'm gonna be the homer guy and just stay
See, that's
home.
why
and
you only get one.
that's fine. I'll take it. I don't want to overthink it.
All right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go Nick Saban,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Nick Saban. I'm gonna go John Thompson.
JT. Where's your towel, by the way? You haven't
You're
toweled
right,
up in a
you're right.
while.
If that's the reason why I have a towel over my shoulder.
Well, it's the reason I don't see any
I
towel.
always have a towel over my
It's an
shoulder
invisible
too.
towel.
I'm
not
going Nick
happy at all.
Saban, in no particular order, by the way. Nick
Okay,
Saban
fine.
and John Thompson.
JT, all right, you get to round it out. Who's
Yeah.
joining your staff? You, Gino, and who?
I know what he's gonna do. I know what he's gonna do.
Go ahead, who do you think I'm gonna do? I bet you're wrong.
It's either gonna be Coach K
No.
or Dean Smith.
You got him. The second one.
I told
I was-
Dean Smith. I knew it. I knew it.
It's hard to
You
argue with
can't
Dean.
go. You
Dean
can't
Smith.
argue.
I was
going
going to say either Dean or Wooten, or
John Wooden.
John Wooden.
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith.
All right. Hey, that's a solid group of 5 coaches. That
I
I'm-
love Gary, but knock it off. Gary. You can't.
Listen, he has done a lot of for multiple colleges.
No, he has.
Taking him to the dance. He's got the national
I actually
championship.
almost messed y'all up, but I can't think of his name. I was gonna go with the Carolina women's soccer coach who won for so many years when he beat everybody.
Oh yes,
Oh,
that would have really. I would-
Everybody.
can we do an honorable mention real quick before we go?
Of course we can.
And that would have
we
been,
do-
think about it, that would have been 2 women's coaches.
Yeah.
I know because
Yeah.
I was going to say Pat Summit.
That someone was great.
Oh my goodness,
May she rest in peace.
I got to go with my man, Charles Lefty.
I was gonna
Drizel.
say, of
almost
course you're
went-
going.
I
lefty.
almost actually went the
It's
left.
this
The
way.
left-hander.
You did this. We
My
should've done
bad.
This. Yeah, come on. I mean, on video, it's gonna
My
be the right
bad.
way, but it's fine.
Big coach, you in my 5, baby. The Hall of Famer.
Well, first guest for our high school basketball preview series is definitely
Great show.
going to be
Great
in
show
hour
tonight.
5. Coach Turner, thanks for being with us tonight.
I appreciate you guys for having me again.
He
Stays
is
in the building. Don't he? Stays in the basement.
Froghorn Leghorn.
Thank you for letting me get some stuff off my chest.
better
I have a
believe it.
lot more to get off my chest.
That's right.
You know what?
You feel a
I've
little
been
lighter?
losing some weight, man.
You're slim. He's slimming down.
My chest still big though. My
But he's
chest
always
is
wearing
still
tight
big.
black sweatshirts with zipped up like that. It's hard to. I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of.
I call it the optical illusion.
It's a lot of optical illusion
There we
going
go.
on. On behalf of Coach Turner and the year of the Purple Eagle Championship, I'm Ken Marangolo for First Amendment Sports. This was our First Amendment Sports High School Basketball Preview, Episode 1. Steve Turner. Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate you.
Still live. I'll turn that off.
It's gonna be rough this year, man.
No knock it off.
Huh?
No knock.